So there are a lot of things I don't know how to do, but I do know that the guitar reminds me a lot of biochemistry and mitochondria. And I don't know how to play the guitar. I just am like trying to learn, and I just play with it, and I enjoy the sounds of the strings whenever I can, do it coherently. But it reminds me of habits. Like every chord on the guitar is a habit, that you start off in the morning with. Every day we have a rhythm, a circadian rhythm. And you can set that rhythm up for yourself biochemically. So every single habit that I participate with is another mitochondria. Because we know the mitochondria can actually replicate themselves and they hold their own DNA. So they can make more of themselves, and you can influence your genetic expression tremendously. I learned this because I went through a really rough time years ago, and a lot of that is mindset. That's why I read the Course in Miracles. But a lot of it is daily habits, daily routines, and what you're exposing yourself to, because your diet is not just food. Like your diet is also sunlight exposure, because we break down our food through our light exposure, which is amazing. It's like your body is so intelligent. There's nothing on this earth that could take away from your beauty or your intelligence. So, I'm learning to play the guitar, and it just, every time I pick it up and I strum a note, I'm just like, this sound is just like a biochemical cascade. It's just like a meal that I eat in the morning. It's like when I eat my eggs, it's a beautiful, coherent sound. And all my cells are hydrating, and even to the tune of just meditating is a good strum. Anyway, I was reading A Course in Miracles. It was pretty juicy this morning. I wrote a lot down. And I wanted to share a few things with you guys because, like I said, how I view health is, it's definitely physical in nature, but it's also spiritual, and mindset is a huge important part of that. It's like years ago, my mindset was like increasing my metabolic rate. Our mindset can stress us out. Things that we are thinking about in the environment puts us into our fight or flight instead of being in a rest or digest state. So anyway, it says, you see what you expect. Let me tell you, this passage is called Looking Within. And I kind of skip around here, so if you want to hang out, that's cool. You see what you expect, and you expect what you invite. Your perception is the result of your invitation, coming to you as you sent for it. Whose manifestations would you see? Of whose presence would you be convinced? For you will believe in what you manifest, and as you look out, so will you see in. Two ways of looking at the world are in your mind, and your perception will reflect the guidance you have chosen. In this book it says, what have you chosen? Have you chosen stress or relaxation? And you know the answer immediately based off of how you feel. So if I feel stressed, I feel dehydrated, anxious, I know that the decisions that I've made have led me to that anxious state. And if I feel calm, it's because the decisions that I've made have led to that state too. I said before that what you project or extend is up to you, but you must do one or the other, for that is law of mind, and you must look in before you look out. As you look in, you choose the guide for seeing, and then you look out and behold his witnesses. This is why you find what you seek. What you want in yourself, you will make manifest, and you will accept it from the world because you put it there by wanting it. When you think you are projecting what you do not want, it is still because you do want it. This leads directly to dissociation, for it represents the acceptance of two goals, each perceived in a different place, separated from each other because you made them different. The mind then sees a divided world outside of itself, but not within. This gives it an illusion of integrity and enables it to believe that it is pursuing one goal. Yet as long as you perceive the world as split, you are not healed, for to be healed is to pursue one goal, because you have accepted only one and want but one. When you want only love, you will see nothing else. The power of decision is your one remaining freedom as a prisoner of this world. You can decide to see it right. What you made of it is not its reality, for its reality is only what you give it. It just reminds me of waking up and asking. It says healing starts with a conversation, and your body, like I said, the cells, body, so intelligent, like will tell you exactly what it is that you want and need at that particular moment. It's just having the conversation and asking, like, what do I need to do right now? And then off the top of my head, I think about doing the dishes and think about making myself a meal. It's like our bodies are so intelligent. We just have to develop the communication with them, redevelop it, because if you feel like anxious or you feel out of touch with, like, let's say you're doing all the exercises and you're not losing the weight, or you feel stuck, it's like there's a deeper conversation, that you can practice developing with your body. Healing starts with a conversation. When you have accepted, this is one that I really, really liked this morning. When you have accepted your mission to extend peace, you will find peace, for by making it manifest, you will see it. Its holy witnesses will surround you because you called upon them, and they will come to you. So beautiful. When you have accepted your mission to extend peace, you will find peace, for by making it manifest, you will see it. Yesterday, I made a video. There's a line in this book that says, this is A Course in Miracles, there's a line in this book that says, can you believe how beautiful those you forgive will look to you? And so, I had sent an invitation. I'll resend it again right here. But if there is someone in your life that you cannot seem to forgive, every time you think of them, you get angry and have all these negative emotions about them. It says when you extend peace, you will find it. And like, you don't have to invite that person back into your life again, but you can extend peace because you're the only one who's holding on to the negative energy. And it's only going to affect you. And it's, if you also don't want to go into that part of yourself, because it can be scary to go sit in those feelings. One of my friends says it only takes 45 seconds to feel a feeling. And that makes things manageable when you think about it in that way. You just have to let it pass through you. But when you don't want to go into that feeling, but it remains, it's like you're holding this weight and this heaviness on you. It's like letting the dishes pile up in the sink and just ignoring them. It's like there's going to be more dishes. There's going to be another situation in your life that sparks up the same feelings. They say life is like patterns. It's like seasons, like math, geometry, quantum physics. It just says things come back to us because we don't learn it the first time around. We only come here to learn lessons. So that same situation is going to come up, and it's going to look a little bit different, but it's going to be the same situation. And all it is an opportunity to experience those feelings and then let them go. And the issue is that we don't allow ourselves to feel those feelings because, you're weak if you cry. And, you have to be more logical. I know that I get stuck in my head instead of being in my heart most of the time, but over the last year, I've been trying to feel everything and cry when I need to, because it feels good when you let stuff go. You feel lighter, and it shows up in your biochemistry, because our thoughts, there's only so much you can hold in your space, and your biochemistry shifts and change, again, just like the guitar. When you become lighter and you're not thinking about things that make you angry, then, you shift your entire biochemistry. I think one of the most beautiful things, I brought this up yesterday, is looking at split personality disorders in psychology. As people who struggle with this, and there's videos on YouTube. I remember I studied a lot of psychology in college, and I remember watching videos from YouTube, and they would be interviewing these people with split personalities, and they would call that person up to the front, and whole demeanor change, whole posture changed, biochemistry, blood markers, everything changes, when we change who we think we are. And it's so fascinating. Like, one person has an autoimmune disease and they're super, super anxious. And then this other person, cool, calm, and collected. So I think that we're all like this. Like, we have I like to think of it as like a mansion inside of our psyches, and that there's parts of ourselves that we're not even fully aware of, and there's parts that you don't like of yourself, there's parts you love about yourself, and then there's I look at it like the doors that are locked that you don't even know where you'd find the keys to. Those parts of yourself, are brought out from different people. That's what this book talks about in A Course in Miracles, is that when you meet your brothers and your sisters, the people outside of you, they show you aspects of yourself that you weren't aware of, which I think is so beautiful. And it just also, it makes a lot of sense, because when I was really struggling years ago, I didn't want to be around other people. And even so, sometimes now, I'm more of a hermit. And, you always, that's what it says, you always receive what you're putting out into the world. So if you have a tough experience with somebody, it's meant to teach you about something in you. So I just think you're so beautiful. Really, that's the truth. And going back to mitochondria and DNA, coolest part about you is that you have all these mitochondria, and coolest part about them is that they don't have a political party, and they don't care about any situation that may be going on in the world. Like, they only care about you. They only care about your light and or your darkness. They only care about your nutrient status. Have you eaten enough sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium, selenium? Haven't drank enough water. That's all that they care about. They just care about you and how you feel. They care about your thoughts too, because like I said, our thoughts shift our biochemistry, and when we're in a stressed out place, the cell becomes stressed, and every single cell is made of a fat membrane. So that's why I like Dr. Mary Newport's work in understanding that we need a lot more fat than we think we do. Our body can create and synthesize a lot of things, but if you're going through a stressful time, it's good to give yourself that support to eat those nutrient-dense foods, at least if not for breakfast, and just watch that cascade. Watch that harmony flow from the morning into the night. So anyway, I hope this is helpful for you. Oh, I have this in front of me, so I might as well just show it before we go. Look how beautiful. Protein protects your light. You're just a bag of protein. How beautiful and gorgeous. Without all this protein, you'd just be a ball of bones on the floor. It's so beautiful that we all have this protein. And what do they say before surgery? They say, get your strength up. Get your strength up before you face this time of weakness. What do they say as we age? We lose the muscle mass. We lose our autonomic nervous system. Our posture becomes weak. Why? Because our muscles put us in place. They keep us strong and sturdy. Muscle protects your light. So, I'm going to go. I love you so much. You don't see yourself accurately. Just remember that. You can like, share, and subscribe, but I will catch you later.